Just let me know how to do. And just take a seat.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wa man wala amma ba'd. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good evening to my beloved brothers and sisters. Thank you very much for your presence today. And today we have our honorable guest Habib Umar bin Hafizh, all the way from Yemen, and also Sheikh Mus'ab bin Fong. They are no strangers to us in Singapore. They are our prominent scholars in the world, alhamdulillah. And many of us have also met Sheikh Mus'ab bin Fong. Months ago he was here to conduct a talk, and alhamdulillah today we have been given the opportunity to have them with us, and Habib will be sharing a little bit on the sweetness of the deen, and we have Sheikh Mus'ab to also translate them in English for us. So without further ado, I'll hand over this event to Habib. Tafadhal mashkura.
الحمد لله على اجتماعنا على دين الحق الذي ارتضاه.
Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we've gathered upon the realities of this religion which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gathered us upon a religion which He is content with.
اختار هذا الدين لخلقه فكان هو الأصلح لهم أجمعين.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose this way or this religion for His creation, and for that very reason it's the greatest choice for creation.
والأنجح في إيصالهم إلى حقائق السعادة في الدارين.
And has placed within it the realities of success and happiness and contentment in this life and the next.
والأقوم لحسن تعايشهم مع بعضهم البعض من قبل هذا الدين ومن لم يقبله من جهة الذي قبله.
And also the most elevated or refined of ways and methods for those people that do enter the religion and the way it affects them, and even those people that don't yet enter the religion but it's still of profound benefit to them.
رعى فيه الحقوق للأفراد والجماعات وللإنسان والحيوان والنبات والجماد.
Within it there is an immaculate taking of care of people's rights and responsibilities, not only with individuals and not only with societies, but in terms of the broader society.
ورتب عليه النجاة على دخول فيها النجاة من النيران والفوز بالجنان.
And he also determined that upon entry into Islam is the great reality of entering into paradise and being saved from fire.
الحمد لله على نعمة الإسلام وكفى بها من نعمة.
So alhamdulillah, we praise Allah for the blessing of Islam, and it suffices us as a blessing.
ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له.
And we testify that there is no God except Allah, and He is one and has no partner.
رب كل شيء.
He is the Lord of everything.
ومليك كل
And
شيء.
He is the owner of
بيده
everything.
ملكوت كل شيء.
And in His hand is the dominion of all things.
ومنه مبتدأ كل شيء.
And from Him is the originating beginning of all things.
وإليه مرجع كل شيء.
And unto Him is the return of all things.
فوز عباده بخضوعهم بجلاله.
The ultimate success of His servants is in subjugating and submitting to His greatness.
وأدائهم لأمره وامتثاله.
And fulfilling that which He has ordained and commanded them to do.
وانتهاءهم عما نهاه عنه.
And abstaining from that which He has told them to refrain from.
فمن فعل ذلك مؤمنا فهو المتقي.
And for the one that does this, who is a true believer, this person is a taqi, a person of deep God consciousness.
المؤمنون الأتقياء هم أولياء الله.
And the believers that have this deep God consciousness, they are the awliya of Allah, the intimate friends of God.
ومن أعرض عن ذكره فإن له معيشة ضنكا ويحشر يوم القيامة أعمى.
And for the one that actively moves away from his remembrance, he has a tormentful life, and in the next life will be punished.
أشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله.
And I testify that our Master Muhammad is his servant and his messenger.
سيد المرسلين.
He is the master of all of the messengers.
خاتم النبيين.
He is the seal and the final one of the prophets.
المرسل رحمة للعالمين.
He was sent forth as complete mercy and compassion to all creation.
صلى الله وسلم وبارك وكرم عليه.
May peace and blessings and honor be bestowed upon him
وعلى آله الطاهرين.
and upon his noble and pure family
أصحابه الغر الميامين.
and his esteemed companions
وتابعيهم بإحسان إلى يوم
and
الدين.
those that followed him in a way of beauty and spiritual perfection
وعلى
until the day of judgment,
الأنبياء والمرسلين.
and upon all of the prophets and the messengers,
وعلى آلهم وصحبهم
and
أجمعين.
upon their families and all of their companions,
وعلى ملائكة الله المقربين.
and upon the angels of God that are brought close to him,
وجميع عباد الله الصالحين.
and similarly upon all of the righteous servants of God,
وعلينا معهم وفيهم.
and also upon us with them and through them.
يا أكرم الأكرمين ويا أرحم الراحمين.
O most generous, O most compassionate.
أما بعد
To proceed,
فإن الدخول في دين الله تعالى إدراك لحقيقة.
indeed, entering into the religion of Allah is understanding the reality of things.
تلك الحقيقة هي أهم الحقائق التي يدركها العقل الإنساني.
And this reality is the most important and profound reality that the human intellect can apprehend.
وهي معرفته من خلقه ولماذا خلقه وإلى أين يصير.
And it's the deep experiential knowledge of the one that created him and the reason why he created him and unto which ends he will be returning to.
وكل من لم يعرف من أين جاء ولماذا جاء وإلى أين يصير فقد جهل نفسه ونسي نفسه.
And for every person that doesn't know why they arrived, where they came from, and doesn't know also where they're going to, their reality is they're truly ignorant of even their own selves.
مهما تقدم أو نجح أو أبرز أو اخترع من شؤون الحياة المادية من أولها إلى آخرها، إذا هو لم يعرف من أين جاء ولماذا وإلى أين يصير فهو جاهل بنفسه جاهل بربه.
Irrespective of the extent to which a person may be reach at the capacity to develop or produce or to invent, if they're not able to apprehend this ultimate reality, the reality of themselves is they're ignorant.
ووظيفة العدل عند الإنسان أن يهديه أنه مخلوق، أن الكائنات من حواليه مخلوقة.
And the purpose or the reason why the mind is used as a tool, the purpose of the tool of the mind is to know why it's been created.
وأن خلقه وخلق الكائنات من حوله جاء على قدرة وعلى ترتيب وحكمة بديعة وعلى دقة في التركيب والتصوير لا يمكن إلا أن يكون من قوة عظيمة عالمة حكيمة.
Similarly, it's also to apprehend that the nature of a person's creation, them being created, and why they're created, and all of the intricacies and beauties that are manifest within their creation. This is one of the primary purposes of the human intellect's existence.
وأنه لا يمكن لهذه القوة العظيمة الحكيمة أن تخلق الناس ولا الكون عبثا.
And to know that with this vast power and might, all of this within coming forth from this creation, it wasn't done without purpose or meaning.
وأنه لحكمة لائقة بعظيم صنعته.
And it has a wisdom which corresponds to the magnitude of the epic nature of the size and scale of this creation.
هذه وظيفة العقل ومهمته.
This is you could say the purpose of the intellect and the reason why it was created.
ومن أحسن استخدام العقل وصل إلى هذه الحقيقة.
And the person that uses the intellect properly and well, then they're able to benefit from this.
ومن لم يحسن استخدام العقل فله مثال.
And the one that doesn't use this tool appropriately, then there is an example for this type of archetype.
كمثل إنسان رأى نفسه وسط قطار وفيه جماعة من الخلق والقطار يمشي.
And the analogy is as if it's a person in the middle of a train, and there are all these people in this train, and he finds himself going for traveling on a train.
هو نام في بيته أو في مكان فأصبح لم يدري نفسه إلا بنفسه إلا في هذا القطار وبين هؤلاء الناس والقطار يسير.
So he went to sleep in his bed in his home, and all of a sudden he wakes up and he finds himself in this train and all these people around him. He doesn't know where he came from, where he's going to.
فمهما كان عاقلا وأحسن استخدام العقل أول ما يخطر عليه وأول سؤال يسأل ما الذي جاء بي إلى هذا المكان؟
So if he uses his intellect properly, already puts it into this proper motion, then the first thing that's going to occur to him is, how did I get here?
ولماذا جئت أنا إلى هنا؟
And why did I arrive in this place?
وإلى أين يمشي بهذا القطار ويوصلني إلى أين؟
And where is this train going to? Where am I going to be arriving at?
فإذا لم يحسن استخدام عقله رأى الناس من حواليه في القطار إما يشتغلون فاشتغل به يتكلمون يأكلون ولم يسأل من أين جاء ولا يدري لماذا جاء ولا إلى أين يذهب.
And if he doesn't use his intellect properly or engage with it properly, he just looks at the people around him on the train and sees what they're doing and starts to copy them. And they don't know where they're going, they don't know where they're going to.
ما مقدار هذا في العقل؟
What's the reality of this in terms of, is it truly intellectual? Is it
لم يحسن استخدام عقله.
This person didn't really use their mind properly.
والدنيا التي نحن فيها قطار.
And this ephemeral world, this life in which we live, is like a train.
يسير بنا.
It's carrying us.
كلنا نرى أن له نهاية.
And all of us can see that it has an appointed end.
ولم ندري بأنفسنا إلا وسط هذه الدنيا.
And we don't see except that we just find ourselves in this space of this world.
فمهما عقلنا لابد أن نسأل من أين جئنا.
So if we're really to be intellectual and rational about this, we should ask ourselves, where am I going to? And why did I
ولماذا
arrive
نحن
here?
في هذه الدنيا؟
Why am I here in this world?
وأين تمشي بنا؟ إلى أين
Where is
تمشي؟
it taking me to?
فإن استخدمنا العقل استخدامه الصحيح وقفنا ورأينا أن هذا أهم سؤال وأول حقيقة يجب أن نقف عندها.
So where we could truly use our intellects and minds properly, we'd understand that we'd arrive at this question which would lead us to apprehending this reality.
لكن وظيفة العقل لا يمكنها أن تتجاوز حدها فتبين من الذي خلق ولماذا جاء بنا. هذا ما لا نستطيع أن نعرفه بالعقل وحده.
However, the nature, the capacity of the intellect is it has an appointed limit, so it can only take you so far. It can't tell you who created you or specifically where you're going to.
ومثال ذلك لو كنا جميعا في هذه الغرفة وهي مغلقة.
And one of the example of this is, for example, we were in this room together and the door was locked.
ثم سمعنا قرعا للباب
And we had a knock on the door
بصوت واضح
with a very clear noise.
ومتكرر.
And it was continual, kept on rapping on the door.
فما وظيفة العقل عندنا؟
So what's how do we use our intellects now in this context?
أن ندرك كلنا حقيقة
That we all understand the reality
أن وراء هذا الباب طارق يطرق.
that behind the door there's somebody knocking.
هل يختلف على هذا؟
Nobody's going to have a difference of opinion in this regard.
هذه وظيفة العقل.
This is the nature of the intellect.
فإذا جاوزنا حدود العقل وأردنا بعقولنا أن نقول من هو.
So were we to go beyond the capacity or the limits
وما اسمه؟
of our intellect to say who is the one that's knocking,
وهل
what's
هو
his name,
إنسي أو جني؟
is it a human being or is it some kind of jinn?
وهل هو ذكر أو أنثى؟
Is it male, is it female?
وهل هو جاء بخير أو جاء بشر؟
Did they come with a good intention or did they come with some kind of bad?
هل نقدر بالعقول أن نفهم هذا؟
Are we going to intellectually understand this?
فإذا أقحمنا العقول في هذا وهو فوق مستواها اختلفنا.
So were we to place our intellects in this regard and each to their own, every single person would come up with a different conclusion.
هذا يقول رجل، هذا يقول امرأة.
This person says it's a man, this next person says it's a woman, this person said it's a young person, this person said it's an old person, this person said no, it's a tall person, the other person says no, it's short.
هذا قال جاء بطعام، هذا قال أبدا جاء بعصا.
This person says he came with some food to give us, no, he came with a stick.
ونبقى نختلف لأننا كلفنا العقول فوق طاقتها.
And we're going to inevitably arrive at this kind of difference and inconsistency because we've used our intellects beyond that which it was designed to be used for.
وكان من مهمة العقل أن يبين لنا كيف نعرف الطارق.
And the reality of the intellect is that it clarifies for us the methodology but how we can attain the knowledge of who was knocking.
فلا نجد إلا أن نزيل الحجاب بيننا وبينه أو نتركه يبلغ عن نفسه يقول من أنت ولماذا جئت فيقول أنا فلان ابن فلان جئت لكذا كذا تنتهي المسألة وهذا الطريقة الصحيحة للمعرفة.
So the proper usage of the mind would be to say either to lower the curtain or to open the door and ask the person or allow them to tell you who they are and where they came from.
وهذا الكون الذي نحن فيه وأيقن العقلاء أن له مكون، لماذا كون ومن هو هذا المكون؟ ما لنا طريق إلا أن نزيل الحجاب ليس في قدرتنا. فهل بلغ المكون عن نفسه؟ فإذا بلغ عن نفسه وأرسل رسلا انتهت المسألة.
And this entire universe in which we inhabit, were the veil to be lifted, that we need to ask ourselves that the one that originated it and caused it to come into existence, did he inform us about himself? Did he inform us about the reason and the purpose for all of this?
هل نجد أن الله تعالى أرسل الرسل وأنزل الكتب يقول أنا الذي خلقتكم وخلقتكم لعبادتي وأردكم إلى البرزخ وإلى الآخرة وفيها كذا وكذا.
And we find ourselves that indeed this is what took place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us that I was the one that created you. I was the one that sent you messengers, and this is the reason why I created you, and this is where you're going.
واختار الرسل من أفضلنا وخيرنا وأصدقنا.
And he chose the messengers to be the most truthful and the most perfect and the most beautiful from amongst us.
وأعطاهم معجزات علامات على صدقهم.
And he gave them miraculous events that took place at their hands which is indicative of the truthfulness of their message.
ثم لم نجد قوة أخرى قالت لا بل أنا الذي خلقت من عهد آدم إلى اليوم.
And then we say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we were told that I was the one that created from the time of Adam until this day.
فلو كان هناك إله غيره أين هو لما الله تعالى أرسل الرسل يقول أنا الذي خلقت أين الإله الثاني ما له يسكن.
So were we to say that if there's a hypothetically a second God or another God, somebody that was interfering in this, where is he now? When there's this consistency from the time of Sayyidina Adam to this day.
هو أصم لا يسمع.
Is this somebody that can't hear or somebody that's blind?
فلا يصح أن يكون إله.
That for that very reason he can't be a God.
هو نايم.
Is he asleep?
فلا يصح أن يكون إله.
He can't be a God for that very reason.
صمت الكون كله ولم يتكلم غير الله.
The entire creation was rendered silent and none spoke except God.
فدل على أنه لا إله إلا الله.
And this completely is a signpost to the reality that there is no God except Allah.
وكل من يقول غير هذا نتحداه الذي تدعيه أنه إله أرسل إليك من؟
And anybody that says other than this, we ask them, we inquire.
فالذي يقول طبيعة نقول الطبيعة كلمتك متى وأرسلت إليك من؟
Who else spoke to you? Where was this communication? If somebody said it was just natural events, we say, well, when did the natural events speak to you? When was this communication that took place that informed you of this reality?
الذي يقول شمس نقول الشمس أرسلت إليك من وكلمتك متى؟
And somebody says, well, the sun was actually the divine source. We say, when did the sun send to you a messenger and tell you that that was the one that was in charge of everything?
والذي يقول القمر كذلك.
And there's somebody that says the moon is the same as the sun.
والذي يقول صنم يقول هذا الصنم متى خلق الكون ومتى أرسل لك رسول يقول أنا الذي خلق.
And for example, any kind of physical idol, when did they send a messenger to tell them that they were indeed the one that created everything in the cosmos?
ولماذا كل هذه الأشياء ما تكلمت حين أرسل الله الرسل؟
And why did all of these things not speak to you when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his messengers?
يمكنك أن تقول هذا بيتي ويأتي واحد يقول البيت بيتي وأنا الذي أملكه وأنت ساكت تتكلم ولا تقدر أن تتحرك ثم تقول لا البيت إلا بيتي أنا. أين أنت وقد أخذ عليك كل شيء وذهب منك كل شيء ثم الآن تأتي وتتكلم؟ هذا لا يمكن.
So were you to have a house, for example, and someone just walks up and comes along and says, well, actually it's my house, and they start coming to the house and taking things from it, how could you in any way remain silent? The concept here is the fact that this is God's dominion, and he didn't remain silent. He spoke to us.
الدخول في الإسلام إدراك لحقيقة هي أهم الحقائق.
So the entrance into the reality of Islam is indicative of understanding a reality, and it's the most perfect and significant of every reality which exists.
وبإدراك هذه الحقيقة يصلح شان قلب الإنسان وباطنه.
And by merely apprehending this reality, a person engages now in a process of cultivating and purifying and refining their inward state.
يعرف من يجب أن يحب وماذا يجب أن يحب.
They start to understand who they can love and incline towards, and who it's not. It's an obligation for them to love.
ولمن يصلح ويحسن أن يسلم زمامه.
And for who it's appropriate to now surrender their reins unto.
حينئذ يؤمن أن الأحق بالمحبة لا نفسه التي لم تخلقه وهي مخلوقة، ولا أهله ولا أولاده ولا جماعته ولا الأرض ولا السماء، لكن خالقه وخالق هذه الأشياء هو أحق أن يحبه ويعظمه قبلهم.
And in understanding this, that we can apprehend that it's not just our own selves or our own egos or our children or our families, that in reality the one that has the absolute priority for our love is the one that created us all.
فيبدأ في قلبه نور المحبة.
So he starts to have this light of love that starts to emerge within his heart.
فإذا أحب الله تولع به وبذكره.
And if he starts to fall in love with Allah, he starts to constantly remember him.
وأشك عبادته.
And he yearns desperately to worship and devote himself to him.
فينظر كيف يعبد فيراه أرسل له رسولا ختم به المرسلين سماه محمدا.
So he starts to think, how can I worship him in the most perfect of ways? And he uses his intellect to arrive at the reality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent his prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to teach us.
أوحى إليه قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم.
And he revealed unto him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, if you truly love Allah, then follow me, and Allah will love you.
يتمسك باتباع هذا النبي.
So he starts to hold on firm to the following emulation of this beloved Prophet.
ويحرص على سننه وآدابه.
And takes absolute care and precaution in following in his way, in his sunnah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
ويكون هذا الرسول أحب الخلق إليه.
So he now becomes the most dearest of all creation to him, that messenger sallallahu alaihi
مبينا
wasallam.
أن الأولى بالمحبة بعد الله من جميع الخلق سيد الخلق وأحبهم إلى ربه.
And now he develops this deep certainty that the most deserved of all creation, after the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one that Allah sent to creation, his beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
ثم ينظر إلى الخلق فيجعل محبتهم من محبة الله تعالى، فمن أحبه الله كان هو محبا له لأنه عبد لهذا الإله.
And then after this he looks throughout creation and all of his interactions in his daily life and finds upon this balance or this framework that who is the dearest of people to God, and for this reason I will love them. That's his list of priorities.
وحينئذ يكره ما يكرهه الله من الكفر والفسوق والعصيان والذنوب والسيئات.
And from this moment on, he now starts to develop this disdain or hatred for active disobedience of God or active denial of the divine.
وهذا الذي ذكرناه من محبة الله ورسوله ومحبة من أحب وما أحب وما يتبعه هو الترجمة لمعنى أنه رضي بالله ربا.
And this which we just mentioned now, this reality that a person starts to love and connect and emulate those people that Allah loves and have this disdain or the dislike for those things which God detests. This is the manifestation of a person having a contentment with Allah as his Lord and Islam as his religion.
وهذا الاتباع للنبي دليل على أنه رضي بالإسلام دينا.
And this following or emulation, copying, being like the Prophet ﷺ is an evidence or a proof that he is truly in contentment with Islam as his religion.
وكذلك كراهته للكفر والفسوق والعصيان ودليل أنه رضي بمحمد رسوله.
And also his disdain for active denial of truth, of disobedience and sin is an evidence for that he's content with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as his messenger.
وبهذه الأمور
And through all of these affairs,
تذاق حلاوة الإيمان.
through this a person tastes the reality of the faith.
ونقرأ فيها حديثين صحيحين عن نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And we read in this regard two rigorously authenticated hadith narrated from the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ.
الأول قوله ثلاث من كن فيه وجد بهن حلاوة الإيمان.
The first of which is there are three archetypes.
أن يكون الله ورسوله أحب إليه مما سواهما.
There are three things that if a person implements or has them, and they taste the reality of faith. The first of them is that they find Allah and His Messenger more dearer and more beloved to them than anything else.
وأن يحب المرء لا يحبه إلا لله.
And that this person loves a person only for the sake of love of God.
فيحب النبيين.
So he loves the prophets.
ولكل نبي آل وصحابة.
And every prophet has a family and they have companions and a nation.
والنبيون خير عباد الله.
And the prophets are the greatest of all of the servants of God.
وخاتمهم أفضلهم سيدنا محمد.
And the seal, the final and the greatest of them is our Master Muhammad.
فأفضل أمة أمته.
And the greatest of nations is his nation.
وأفضل صحابة صحابته.
And the greatest of companions are his companions.
وأفضل آل آله.
And the greatest of the families is his family.
فنحبهم لأجل الله.
So we love them purely for the sake of God.
ونحب كل مؤمن صالح.
And we love every righteous believer.
وغير المؤمنين نحب هدايتهم.
And for other people that aren't believers, we love that they be for their guidance.
ونعطيهم من عندنا ما شرع الله من البر والقسط.
And we give them in accordance to that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed for us and guided us and instructed us to by means of kindness and being just.
ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين.
And there is no enmity except for people that show an active aggression and aggression.
فلا نأخذ من مال أحد منهم ولا نمس عرضه ولا نبرب دمه قط ما دام لم يقاتل ولم يحارب ولم يظلم.
So it's completely impermissible for us to take any of their wealth or speak or offend them in anything by means of their property or in their ownership, as long as they have no active enmity and fight.
فالبر والقسط لجميع الناس.
So kindness and being just is for all people.
ونزيد المؤمنين بالمودة والولاء والمحبة.
And in regards specifically to the believers, we add on a few things. One of them is a love, to have a love for them.
نكمل الحديث قال ثلاث فذكرنا الأولى أن يقول الله رسوله حب لي ما سواهما، والثانية أن يحب المرء لا يحبه لله، والثالث قالوا هل يكره أن يعود في الكفر بعد إذا انقذوه منه كما يكره أن يقذف في النار.
So to complete the hadith, we mentioned the first two things, that Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam become dearer to him than anything else. That the person only loves a person purely for the sake of Allah. The third way of which we're to mention now, is that a person, sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he's indeed tasted the sweetness of faith, the one that has contentment with Allah as his Lord, and with Islam as his faith or religion, and with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as his prophet and his messenger.
وأعظم الصفات المتعلقة بهذه المعاني خضوع القلب وانكساره من أجل الله.
And the greatest of these attributes which are connected to these things which we mentioned is this brokenness before the divine magnanimity and beauty.
ورحمة الفقراء والضعفاء وأهل الحاجة.
And to have compassion and gentleness to people who are poor or people that are needy.
ولو كان حيوانا من الحيوانات.
Even if it's some kind of animal.
فضلا عن الناس.
Irrespective if it was going to be a human being.
كل كبد رطب أجر يقول نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the Arabic expression is that has a moist liver. It means any living being, there is an ajr, there's a reward if you take care of it.
وتنمية المحبة لله ورسوله.
And to cultivate our love for Allah and His Messenger.
وأن نتآخى في الله.
And that we become brothers for the sake of love.
ونتعاون على مرضاته.
And that we assist each other mutually in seeking His pleasure.
من الصلوات في جماعة.
So we pray in congregation.
ومن صلات الأرحام.
And that we maintain family and encourage family ties.
هداية الغير.
And to constantly think about how we can be a source and a means to guide other people.
رحمة.
Out of pure compassion and mercy.
الله ورسوله.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His prophets is ordained and prescribed us.
وأن نحرص عليهم أن لا يدخلوا النار.
And we have a deep care that they don't enter hellfire.
ونبذل ما في وسعنا.
And we give everything that we can for this reason.
بحسن البيان.
With a beautiful articulation of our tradition.
أخلاق.
And with perfect character,
behavior, المعاملة.
And excellency in our behavior with them.
بذلك.
Through this or by this.
ينشرح الصدر.
A person's heart becomes expanded.
ويبدأ ذوق حلاوة الإيمان.
And the beginning or the initial stages of this tasting of the sweetness of faith begins to emerge.
وحلاوة الإيمان أحلى وأذوق من كل مطعوم ومشروب ومنكوح وملبوس ومركوب.
And the sweetness of faith is sweeter than any other drink, any other food, any other luxury, any other pleasure. The sweetness of faith is far sweeter.
مكث صحابي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عند بابه بعدما أنزل الله تعالى والله يعصمك من الناس فقال للحرس انصرفوا فقد عصمني الله.
So a group of the Sahaba were guarding the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a period of time in the history of the seerah of his biography sallallahu alaihi wasallam, until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse, and Allah will protect you from the people. But there was one of the Sahaba, one of the companions of the Prophet who remained.
فلاحظه النبي 3 ليال عند بابه.
The Prophet noticed him for 3 days continuously that he was waiting at the door of the Prophet.
ألم أقول لكم انصرفوا فقد حرسني الله.
He said, and the Prophet said to him, did I not inform you? You can go now because Allah will protect me.
قال ما جلست من أجل الحراسة يا رسول الله.
He said, I've not remained here to protect you,
لكن محبة وخدمة.
but just out of love and to serve you.
قلت ربما يطلبك في الليل شيء أو ينزل عليك أمر فأكون أقرب أمتك إليك أخدمك.
I just thought that maybe you might need something during the night, and I'm going to be the closest of your people to you to serve you.
قال ففرح منه صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And then the Prophet was delighted because of this response.
ثم قال له سل ما تشاء.
And then he said to him, ask whatever you want.
قال يا رسول الله ماذا أسألك؟
He said, Ya Rasulullah, what can I ask you?
كنا في جاهلية وشر.
We were in ignorance and bad things. We didn't know about Islam.
فأنقذنا الله بك
And Allah saved us through you
إلى الإسلام والهدى.
to Islam and guidance.
وأنت بين يدينا.
And you were before us.
ووحي الله ينزل عليك.
And the revelation of God descends upon you.
ونحن عرفنا ربنا.
And we know our Lord now.
ونتصل بإلهنا.
And we connect to our God.
فماذا أريد بعد
So
ذلك؟
what could I possibly ask after this?
وماذا أطلب؟
What could I seek?
هل فسأل شيئا؟
The Prophet said, no, ask them.
قال ولا بد.
He said, if I have to.
قال نعم.
He said, yes.
قال أفكر. قال فكر.
He said, allow me to think. The Prophet said, go and think.
ففكر ورجع إليه.
So he started to think. He went away to think and he came back to the Prophet. He said,
لو سألتك أي شيء من هذه الدنيا فسألت الله جاء به إلي فأتمتع به قليلا ثم يفارقني وأفارقه.
he said, Ya Rasulullah, if I asked of anything of this ephemeral world, that which is in this world, that I know that Allah through you would cause it to come to me, but then it would end just as everything ends in this world.
فلا أسألك شيئا من الدنيا.
So I'm not going to ask you anything from this world.
قال فما تسأل؟
He said, so what?
أسألك مرافقتك في الجنة.
He said, what do you ask me? He said, I asked that I'd be with you in Jannah.
قال أو غيرها. قال لا.
He said, nothing else. He
قال
said,
أو غيرها. قال لا.
anything else? No.
قال أو غيرها. قال لا.
Is there anything else? He said, no.
قال فأعني على نفسك بكثرة السجود.
He said, so help me to upon your own self to prostrating Allah, to being in prayer of Allah.
وتعلق قلب سيدنا ذي البجادين بالنبي محمد.
And one of the Sahaba, Sayyidina
ذي البجادين.
Al-Bijadain, had his heart connected to the Prophet.
لم تزل قبيلته مشركة كافرة.
His tribe remained in denial of the truth and they were polytheists.
ومنعه أن يذهب إلى المدينة عند النبي محمد.
And they forcefully prevented him to going forth to meet the Prophet Muhammad in Medina.
فلم يتزل يترقب الفرصة.
So he was just waiting every day for the opportunity to go.
حتى خرج في ليلة وهم غافلون.
Until he decided one night, I'm just going to escape and go out once nobody notices.
وعندما خرج من القرية صادف بعض أولئك المشركين داخلا إلى القرية.
And just on his way out of the village, he found some of the people from his tribe coming forth, and he met them on the way out.
أين تريد؟ رجع معنا.
He said, where are you off to? Where are you going? He said, come back with us.
قال وما تستفيدون مني أكون بينكم.
So what are you going to benefit from me if I'm amongst you here now?
وما يضركم أن أذهب عنكم.
What's the big deal? How's it going to harm you if I go away from you?
وخذوا مالي.
You take all my wealth.
قالوا تعطينا مالي كله.
So you're going to give us all of your wealth?
قال نعم.
He said, yes.
قالوا حتى الذي بيدك.
Even those things that are in your pockets now.
قال خذوا كل ما علي اتركوا لي ثوبا أستر به عورتي إزارا ورداء.
He said, you can take it all. Take everything I have. Just give me some kind of cloth that I can cover my aura with, cover my body with.
فأخذوا كل شيء منه.
So they took everything from him.
تركوا له إزار ورداء.
And they left him with just like a sarong and a shawl.
ثوبان خليقان.
Just two tattered old pieces of cloth to cover himself.
وهما البجادان في اللغة العربية. البجاد الثوب الخليق.
This is called bidajan, and in Arabic language this means like a tattered old patched cloth.
لما وصل المدينة وليس معه إلا الثوبين سماه الصحابة ذو البجادين صاحب الثوبين.
So when he arrived in Medina, the Sahaba saw him and they called him the man with the two tatty cloths, the two old patched cloths, because this is the way they saw him.
وهان عليه ليلته كله في مقابل رؤية وجه النبي محمد.
And all of that was easy for him to leave just to gaze upon the Prophet.
وسمع صوته.
And he listened to his voice.
وصافحت كفه الشريف.
And he shook his blessed noble hand.
والصلاة خلفه.
And he prayed behind him.
والجلوس معه.
And he sat amongst him.
فطاب حاله.
So his state became beautiful.
فكان يلازم مجالس رسول الله صلى الله عليه
And he would
وسلم.
always be in the gatherings of the Prophet ﷺ.
وإذا كان وقت فراغه لا مجلس هناك اعتكف في المسجد يذكر الله.
And at the times when there weren't gatherings with the Prophet ﷺ in his presence, that he would make i'tikaf in the mosque of the Prophet ﷺ and make remembrance of Allah.
حتى مر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما تحت المسجد وسمع صوته يذكر الله تعالى.
Until on one particular day, the Prophet ﷺ was walking outside of the mosque, and he heard his voice loudly remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
قال بعض الصحابة أخشى أن يكون هذا مرائيا يا رسول الله.
When some of the Sahabas heard this also, he said, Ya Rasul, a messenger, I feel maybe this man is showing up.
لا ولكنه أواب أي رجعني إلى الله.
He said, no, but this is a man who's deeply devoted and always turning back to God.
وخرج مع النبي في غزوة خيبر.
And he went forth with the Prophet in the battle of Khaybar.
ومع رجوعه من الغزوة توفي ذو البجادين.
And upon the way back from the engagement, he passed away.
فحفر قبره كبار الصحابة.
So the elite, the giants amongst the Sahaba, took it amongst themselves to bury him and dig his grave.
منهم سيدنا عمر وسيدنا أبو بكر وسيدنا علي.
From amongst them was Sayyidina Umar and Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Ali.
ثم صلى عليه صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And then the Prophet ﷺ prayed over his grave.
ونزل إلى قبره.
And he went down into the grave.
وقال ناولوني.
And he said, bring him forth to me.
فوسده بيده الشريفة في القبر.
So he placed him with his own blessed hand into the grave.
ودعا له.
And he prayed for him.
وقال اللهم ارض عنه فإني أمسيت عنه راض.
And he said, oh Allah, be pleased with him because I'm pleased with him.
ونال السعادة الكبرى.
So he attained the ultimate happiness.
يا من أذاقهم حلاوة الإيمان أذقنا حلاوة الإيمان.
Oh, you who caused them to taste the sweetness of faith, cause us all now to taste the sweetness of faith.
وحببنا بحبائب المحبة.
Cause us to taste the realities of love.
وألحقنا بأولئك الأحبة.
And allow us to connect and be raised with those great lovers.
برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Through your merciful, our most merciful.
وبارك في إخواننا هؤلاء.
And bless all of our brothers and sisters here.
وأخواتنا.
And our sisters.
ثبتهم.
And make them firm.
إيمانا ويقينا.
And the realities of faith and certitude.
وهب بهم غيرهم.
And make them a means for other people to be guided through them.
واقذف نور الهداية في قلوب أهليهم وقراباتهم.
And thrust the realities of the lights of faith in the hearts of their family members and
وبارك في
relatives.
دار الأرقم والقائمين عليها.
And may Allah bless in the blessed institution of Darul Arqam and all of the people that are serving within it.
وما يقومون به من نشاط وخدمة للإسلام والمسلمين.
And all the things they're doing to serve, and all the activities which they perform in service of Islam and the Muslims.
واكتب القبول والنفع.
And ordain divine acceptance and true benefit.
ارزقنا ويوم الإخلاص والصدق.
Grant us true sincerity and to have our hearts singly devoted to God.
برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Through your mercy, our most merciful.
وكنا استحببنا جلوس نسائنا وراء رجالنا ابتداء بالنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And the reason why we asked if our dear sisters could sit behind, this is purely out of following our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
فكانوا يصلون خلفه في المسجد فيمر بالرجال ثم الصبيان ثم النساء.
So they used to pray with him in the masjid, and he would have the men, then there would be the children, and the ladies would be at the back.
لكون ذلك اليقى بجمعيتهم وحضور قلوبهم.
And the reason for this is so that they could have more of cultivate the realities of presence in their heart, and that they weren't distracted.
لا دخل له في الأفضلية ولا في الإعزاز.
Has nothing to do with some kind of pride or that anyone's better than anyone else.
وقد كان في النساء من هو أعز عليه من أكثر الصحابة.
From amongst the women of the Sahaba, the most dearest of people to him from amongst the ladies.
كان في النساء اللاتي يصلين في الخلف أم المؤمنين عائشة.
And from amongst the blessed women that would pray with him behind the men was the mother of the believers, Sayyidatina Aisha.
وأحب بنات إليه فاطمة الزهراء.
And the most dearest and beloved of people to him, Fatima Zahra.
سيدة نساء أهل الجنة.
The great master of all of the women of paradise.
فلم يكن في مثل هذا الترتيب دخل قط في مسألة الأفضلية ولا الإعزاز والإكرام.
So in this kind of arrangement, there was no kind of sense of looking down upon people or that men are better than women. Has nothing to do with that.
هذه الحقيقة التي يجب أن ندركها.
this is the reality of the affair, and we should all really understand this.
فما يروجه من يريد أن ينال من الإسلام شيئا ويحاول أن يصور أمثال هذا أن فيه انتقاصا هو كلام باطل وليس له حقيقة ويجب أن ندرك نحن الحقيقة.
So we're also not to lend our ears to those people that were they to look upon such a gathering, they may erroneously reinvent something that this is to do with a kind of derogatory towards the women, and we should be firm upon our understanding of the reality of things. This has nothing to do with it. We understand that this is the reality.
ولا أحد يمكن أن يكرم المرأة ولا أن يكرم الرجل مثل إلههم وخالقهم.
And there is no one in reality that can ennoble a woman or a man more than their creator, Jalla Jalaluhu.
ثم لا أكرم لهم في الخلق كله من عبد محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
And then there's nobody that can honor them more and extol them greater than their Prophet.
بارك الله في جمعنا.
So may Allah gather us all in this gathering.
نسألك ما جمعنا في الدنيا أن يجمعنا في
And we
الآخرة.
ask Allah that just as He's gathered us in this gathering, in this dunya, in this life, He gather us in the akhirah.
أحبابا لنا.
So, oh Allah, gather us and all of those people that we love.
في دارك الفردوس أطيب
In
موطن.
your abode of Firdaus, the highest levels of Jannah, the most purest and sweetest of abodes.
يا أرحم
Oh,
الراحمين.
most merciful.
والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.
So Alhamdulillah, we have a couple of announcements to make, right? So right after this, Habib will be heading over to another majlis. So inshallah, we shall not take too much of his time. So if any one of us, if we have any question in relevance to today's topic, please feel free to write into Al-Muwasolah SG. Yeah, you can find them on Facebook and everything. So due to the essence of time, we do not have a proportion for Q&A. I'm so sorry about it. So Alhamdulillah.